Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Odorico, and joining me is LPGA professional Cindy Miller, and we are your hosts. We're broadcasting live every Tuesday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern here on the blogtalkradio.com network, bringing you some of the best golfers, teacher professionals, and entrepreneurs helping to elevate women's golf. We're so glad you decided to join us this morning, so grab your coffee and let's get started. All right, good morning, everybody, and once again, thank you for joining us live here on the Women of Golf Show. Just a quick program note, just to let you know that Cindy will not be on the show this morning. She's not likely going to make it. She had a speaking engagement back in January that got pushed forward actually to today due to some inclement weather. So she's obviously honoring that commitment, so she won't be joining me this morning. So I will, as they say, hold down the fort, and she'll be back, of course, next week as we continue on. But just wanted a quick program note that this was sort of a last-minute thing. But anyway, she won't be on the show this morning, so I will be handling things today with our special guest and the discussion we had planned for this morning. But thanks for everybody for joining us. Don't forget, we want to hear from you, so you're always welcome to call in the show anytime during our live broadcast, Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. The number to call is area code 347-945-5855, or you're certainly welcome to email any questions or comments to us personally. Cindy's email is cindy@cindymillergolf.com, and mine is ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. I'm going to talk about this morning here in just a moment about building a successful pre-shot routine. That's going to carry the first part of the show, and a little bit later on I'm going to be joined by special guest Ashaunta Epps, the CEO and founder of A Perfect Swing, Inc. She'll be joining me on the second half, but just wanted to get that out there before we begin this morning's broadcast. And one other quick note, starting next week, we'll be starting to have our Symetra Tour players coming on the show as we did last year. I've got a great young lady going to be joining us next week, the first half of the show, and then as they move into their season starter next week from the 7th to 10th, I believe, are the actual tournament dates. It's going to be the first tournament of the season, and the following Tuesday, of course, we will feature the winner of that event, and all the weeks following that Symetra Tour events take place, we will honor each of the winners on the show here as they're able to come on and have a great discussion. But next week, we're going to have one of the Symetra Tour players join us, and she's going to sort of kick off the season, if you will, a little bit with the Symetra Tour and tell us about some of the upcoming events and a little bit about her experience. She's been on since, I believe, 2017 on the tour, so she's going to be going into her, I believe, her third season. So we'll have some interesting discussion there. So that's going to take place next Tuesday here on the Women of Golf Show, so you want to make sure you come back for that. Okay, as I mentioned, we had a discussion set for this morning, and I'm just going to sort of pick it up from here. But if you remember a couple of weeks ago, we had a discussion on sort of mastering the mental side of golf and sort of putting things together emotionally and mentally, if you will, in order to play your best golf. And one of the key points that we talked about was really a pre-shot routine. And this is where, we feel that a lot of amateurs sort of missed the mark. If you watch most of the tour players on any of the tours, whether it be the PGA or LPGA and some of the others, you will always see that they have a very consistent pre-shot routine for every shot. So whether they're standing on the first tee or whether they're on the ninth hole in the middle of the fairway or even on the putting surface, on the 17th, their routine is the same for in preparation for every shot, no matter where they are and what the circumstances are. And there's a reason for that. And I'm going to talk about today some of the things that you need to have, some of the ingredients, if you will, and steps that you need to have in building a successful pre-shot routine. And there's really 5 of them that are involved. And the first one, step 1, is decisions. So before you hit any shot, there's always several decisions to make and various different elements that you need to take into account. So, for instance, some factors to take into account could be wind, might be flag position. If you're on the green, you're going to look at the grain, which way the grain is in a green, because that's going to dictate the speed and other factors in your putting stroke. So these are things that you need to decide, and you must decide what best shot, shape, and club based on some of those factors. So, for instance, as an example, if you're playing on a relatively windy day, and let's say the wind is coming into your face a little bit, you might want to play a lower ball flight in order to sort of cut through that wind. Otherwise, if you hit your normal shot that maybe tends to be a little bit higher, then it's going to balloon up and you're going to lose distance. It's just one of the things, or it's going to blow off track a little bit. Maybe if you typically fade or even slice the ball, it's going to exaggerate that depending on which way the wind's coming. So these are factors that you need to adhere to, and this is really the first thing that you want to do as you come up to your ball, is you want to assess the situation. You want to look out at the fairway. Again, if you're standing in the fairway or if you're on the tee, you want to look out to the fairway and you want to see, okay, are there bunkers out there? Where are they? How far are they? Is there water on either side, or maybe crossing, maybe it's a creek or something that's crossing the fairway? So these are things that you want to look into and you want to assess. Now, you don't want to dwell on them, and it's not a matter of, gosh, there's all this trouble out there or potential trouble out there, and that you want to dwell. But you need to be cognizant of where that trouble may lie, and obstacles or objects that you may want to avoid. There could be a tree out in the fairway somewhere, maybe on the left or right hand side, that could impede the type of shot that you want to play. So these are all factors that you want to take, and it shouldn't take very long. It's a very quick assessment, but that's step one, is sort of making that decision as to whether there's a wind that's going to factor the flight of the ball, whether there are obstacles to consider, and the type of shape of shot that you want to hit, and the club that's best going to accomplish that. So that's the first step, is in the decision point of things and developing a successful pre-shot routine. Step two is feel. So as an example, making a small practice swing of some description is always a great idea to give you some sort of feel for what you're about to do. And this does not need to be a very strict practice swing where every little detail is perfect. We just want to give you the sensation of what you're trying to achieve without too much analyzing. One of the big things that we often see, with those that have developed some sort of a practice routine, is they start getting into, you'll see them up there as they're getting ready to, before they execute their shot, they're up there making, checking positions to make sure their hands are in the right position, or to make sure that they're swinging the club the right way, and they're becoming very analytical. And that's not really the purpose of the pre-shot routine. The pre-shot routine is really to analyze the information, formulate a game plan, if you will, and then execute the game plan. And if you're overanalyzing and factoring in all of the correct positions and all of these other things that typically you would do in a practice session, then what ends up happening is you're sort of deflating or defeating the purpose of the pre-shot routine. So again, you want to feel, and something else too, just going back to the pros for a second, if you watch most of the pros on television, you will also notice that when they take their practice swings, now there may be some exceptions to the rule, but the majority of them are not swinging at full speed. They're certainly maybe taking a full swing, depending on the type of shot they're taking. If it's a chip shot or a short pitch shot, obviously they're going to abbreviate the swing a little bit to accommodate and to fit the particular shot they're making. Or in the case of a putting stroke, obviously they're not swinging the club. They're just creating a putting stroke or mimicking a stroke that they want to implement at that particular time. But they're not going to swing at 100%. The idea is they're just trying to garner a feel for the club as they're visualizing the shot they're about to hit. And it may be only 70%, 75% of their full swing, just to make sure they're swinging in balance and making sure that they're feeling that club head, as they go through the process. So that's something that falls under the feel category, and that's really what they're trying to do, and that's really what you need to do. And again, you might only take a couple of swings. Some might even take 3 swings. It doesn't matter. Obviously, again, you have to be cognizant of time. I mean, you're not going to stand up there and take 25 practice swings. But 1 or 2 or 3 are certainly acceptable. But whatever you do, one thing that you need to keep in mind, and this is really important, whether it be 2 or let's say 3 practice swings, you need to do that consistently with every shot. Don't on the first hole maybe you just take 1 practice swing, and then the next hole you're taking 3, and then the next hole you're only taking 2. You want to be consistent, and there's a reason for that. If you're inconsistent and you're not doing it the same way every time, what happens is you fall out of routine because you're not actually taking the time to really put things together in a proper way. And I've seen this so many times, and you'll actually even see the pros sometimes. If they fall out of their traditional routine, it's usually because something has stymied them or they're uncomfortable with the shot, and it takes them out. You don't see it very often, but we have seen it over the years with a number of players under high-pressure situations. And that's why it's crucial to have that pre-shot routine consistent each and every time. So that's a little bit about feel. Step 3 is visualize. So now what we want to do is we want to visualizing the shot before you play it is probably one of the most important parts. So if you think of putting the destination into the satellite navigation in your car, you want to be able to see where you're going, seeing the shape of your in your head, visualizing the ball flight and trajectory tells your brain exactly what you want to make the ball do during its flight. So as I mentioned earlier on, if the shot calls for a fade, let's say as an example, you want to visualize that. Where do you want to place the ball? And based on the information that you did in step 1 is going to dictate where you're going to place that ball and necessarily what shape of shot that you want to hit. Now, obviously, if you're not an overly accomplished player and maybe you're not a real good fader of the ball and you're typically hitting a slice, again, you're going to need to make compensations. You're going to need to aim appropriately depending on the shape of the shot you normally have or you're working with on that particular day. And those are things that you're going to establish out on the practice tee. So when you go to the practice tee as an example, before you play your round, this is where you want to also gather some information. How are you hitting the ball? Are you hitting it pretty solid, but you still got a little bit of a slice? Don't try to fix it if you're about ready to go out on the golf course in the next 10 or 15 minutes. That's something you can work on after your round or at another time. So you want to take the game that you have on the range that day out on the golf course. So visualizing the type of shot that you have is going to help that. So again, if you're fading or even slicing the ball a little bit, don't try to change the shot and try to tinker around and work with that. Visualize the shot that you've been hitting out on the practice range and now apply it to the shot at hand. So again, if you need to be in sort of the center or left side of the fairway because that's going to set you up for your next shot, then you want to aim appropriately. You want to aim allowing that. You want to tee up, let's say, on the far right side of the tee box, and you want to aim down the left side of the fairway and maybe even a little bit towards the rough a little bit on the left-hand side so that the ball will fade back into the fairway and be in the position that you want, or certainly as close to the position. So you want to visualize the shot that you want to hit based on your abilities that given day. And seeing that shape again and the trajectory as well. Again, as I mentioned earlier, if you're playing into wind, if you got a headwind, let's say, you're not necessarily going to maybe want to hit your traditional shot. You might need to flight the ball a little bit lower in order to cut through that wind. So let's say as an example, if you're hitting a 7-iron normally, you may not want to hit a 7-iron because the loft is going to be a little bit higher and you're going to get caught up in that wind and not get the desired distance. So you may want to scale back to maybe even as much, depending on how strong the wind is. You may even want to scale back to a 5-iron and just maybe choke down a little bit on the 5-iron and swing a little bit easier as an example. And that'll help cut the ball through the wind a little bit and still not lose a lot of distance. So those are things that need to be factored in with the various steps and helping you to visualize the shot you need to make. And step 4 is to commit to the trigger, if you will, and that's the actual execution of the shot. So once you've seen the shot in your head and you are ready to commit to the shot, you want to play and strike. The ball because golfers are starting the club from a stationary position. It's always recommended a small trigger to begin the moment. Or movement rather. This is often small but very simple movement such as a waggle. You'll often see players do that on tour. Maybe a forward press of the shaft, and not a great deal, but just a little slight movement just to allow, pardon me, a forward press of the shaft. Or even a final look at the target before you take the club away. We'll often see Jack Nicklaus was famous for this. He would waggle the club, I believe it was 3 times, and he would, with each waggle, he would sort of again look at it down the line at his target, and then he would pull the trigger. So having some sort of again committing to the trigger and having some sort of a very slight movement as well, just to get the motion going, if you will, can also make a great thing to do in order to get the club in motion. And so what you really want to do is you want to put all of these things together before you actually hit the shot, so that when you're ready to take step 4, everything's in your mind. You've seen the shot. You know what trouble's out there. You know where you want the ball to go, and you want to then be able to execute the shot. And again, this is something that you want to do for each shot as you navigate around the golf course. And step 5, in my opinion, ranks up there as well, and that is reaction or react. Although the golf ball has already left the club face, your reaction is a key part of the next pre-shot routine. So as an example, should you hit a bad shot, a negative overreaction can often cost you when it comes to the next shot. And let me just clarify this a little bit. We all hit bad shots. I don't care what level of player, even the best players on tour. We've seen even Tiger and many other players out on the the PGA hit some bad shots. But you'll notice their reaction. Certainly they're upset. Some of them might grimace. Some of them have even let a few words slip out, but it's momentarily. It's very quick. They might take a few seconds to discharge their disgruntlement, if you will. Sometimes it costs them a few dollars depending on if they're overstepping, but you don't often see the better players out there on the golf course, throwing clubs or really carrying on for a very long period of time. They might, again, take a moment or two after the shot, but it's very quick. And I don't always recommend that. Again, sometimes a negative reaction, even though sometimes it's human nature, sometimes it's hard if you're not trained properly to be able to sort of move past that. And these guys work on this. They have not only swing coaches, but they have mental coaches as well that help them work through that. And of course, as amateurs, most of you out there, you don't have the benefits of that. Sometimes you've got playing partners who might even rib you a little bit because you hit a bad shot, and that's okay. Take it in stride, laugh a little bit. So carrying those negative thoughts from one shot to another, again, can really create frustration and anxiety, which are two things that will cause damage definitely to your score. You can't change the past, as they say, so once you have put the club in the bag and taken off your glove, that shot is over. Move on and prepare for the next one, putting your full focus on sticking to the process and routine. Now, although there are 5 steps to the routine, this should really only take place in a matter of seconds. Once the decision has been made as to what club and shot you are about to play, the remainder should only take a maximum of about 10 to 20 seconds. Incorporating a routine into both your playing and your practice time really could significantly change your ability to score on the golf course. So those are really the 5 steps, if you will, and I'm just going to very quickly move past them again here to build a successful pre-shot routine. Again, first step 1 is the decision. So decide what factors to take into account as far as the wind, maybe the flag position, grain if you're on a putting surface. other obstacles or objects that maybe impede the shot that you want to hit. Step 2, of course, is feel. Again, taking a practice swing or 2 or even 3. I don't suggest any more than 3, but again, it's your practice shot routine. But be mindful that there are others on the golf course, and we want to try to avoid slow play as possible. And you really don't need to take more than that. And again, you don't necessarily have to swing at full speed. In fact, I don't recommend it. I think sometimes that actually can make things worse. 70-75% of your full swing is plenty. I've even seen players that swing at maybe 50%. They just want to really just sort of loosen up and feel the club head and really help them again in their mind. They're sort of visualizing what they need to do, and obviously they're going to ramp up that speed a little bit when they actually get over the ball and hit the shot. Step 3, of course, again, is visualizing the shot before you play. Again, is probably one of the most important parts. You want to see the shot in your head, the trajectory, the ball flight, and so on in your mind before you actually commit. And then obviously step 4 is to commit to the trigger and or execute the shot. Once you've taken in the first 3 steps, now you're ready to actually execute the shot, and you just want to be able to do that in such a way that you're well prepared and are able to, do that with confidence. And the only way to do that is to really have a good pre-shot routine. And obviously step 5 is how you react to everything above. You've now, done your different steps. You've got a great pre-shot routine. You now execute the shot, but maybe it's not what you had visualized or didn't come off the way that you had hoped. And ultimately what ends up happening is you end up carrying that negative baggage, if you will. It's like we talked about earlier on in the season, and I believe I actually mentioned it last season as well somewhat. When you're going to the airport, the last thing you want to do is have 3 or 4 or 5 bags of luggage that you're, heavy bags that you're lugging along. It's very cumbersome. And that's the same thing out on the golf course. If you've had some bad holes or maybe some bad shots and you're continually thinking about them as you navigate around the golf course, that's just going to add to the frustration, and you're ultimately not going to enjoy the game at hand because you're thinking too much. So, again, whatever your routine is, just in closing, whatever the routine is that you've developed, you want to make sure, as I said before, that you're doing it the same for every shot. Don't change that. Develop one that's comfortable for you. You don't have to. You may see some players on TV that you might want to mimic, and that's okay if it works for you. If it's something that works for you and you can visualize that and you can incorporate that into your pre-shot routine, or even some elements. You may take elements of various different players and put it together and formulate and create your own pre-shot routine. That's fine. But whatever it is that you decide to do, you need to do it with every single shot, regardless of whether you're on the tee or on the green. And I also recommend that you take that pre-shot routine, not only on the golf course, which obviously is extremely important, but you need to incorporate that in your practice sessions. One of the biggest mistakes, we've talked about this many times, on the show as well, pardon me, is we will often see a player that gets on the practice tee and they're warming up. Maybe they're not necessarily taking a lesson, but they're warming up, and all they're doing is they're raking and hitting balls. They're taking another ball off the pile, and they're just hitting shots. They're not really putting any thought. There's no routine. And then they go out on the golf course and they mimic the same thing, or they try to incorporate something, some sort of haphazard routine, and it's just not consistent. And so you want to build consistency, and that, everybody always asks, how can I play like so-and-so, or how can I be a better player? Well, I'm telling you, this is how you become a better player. It's not just all about actually hitting the shots. It's also about the process leading up to hitting the shots and how you react after the shot has been made. That's what makes a better player. All of the other stuff is really immaterial. Getting out there and working on these different parts of your game will help make you an overall better player. And these are things that we feel will help you to become a much better player. And that's why, we say building a successful pre-shot routine is critical in playing some good golf. So I hope these tips help you. If you came in partway through the discussion, after the end of the show, of course, we are live right now, but after the end of the show, you can go to, and that'll play out on the closing credits of the show, some different ways that you can tune into the show, including this one, and different platforms, and you can go back and listen to the recorded version and listen to some of these steps as many times as you want, and then go out and put it into practice. So keep that in mind. I hope that this helps, as I said, the different steps in building a successful pre-shot routine, and I guarantee you that if you follow what I discussed here this morning, you will see a much better, a much calmer experience out on the golf course, but you need to take those steps to heart. As I mentioned, I'm going to be joined here in just a few moments by my very special guest, Ashaunta Epps, the CEO and founder of A Perfect Swing. She'll be joining me here in just a few minutes. But let me just remind everybody, again, that we are live every Tuesday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern here on the blogtalkradio.com network. And there are some other great ways that you can tune into the program. And that, as I said, at the end of the show, I will let you know some other places that you can reach out as well. And as I said, you're always welcome to call into the show during our live broadcast. The number is area code 347-945-5855. Or you can reach out to either Cindy or I at our respective emails. Mine is ted.golftalklive@gmail.com, and Cindy's is cindy@cindymillergolf.com. And just, again, another quick mention for those of you that obviously maybe are just tuning in a little bit later in the broadcast. Cindy is not on the show today. She is actually a keynote speaker for a special event that was held over from January due to some inclement weather, so she wasn't able to join us for this broadcast, but she'll be back next week when we bring in our special guest next week, which will be one of the Symetra Tour players, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. We're going to be starting up again as their season begins to unwind or unpack, if you will. Their first event is going to be next week. I believe March the 7th to the 10th is the first week on the first tournament on the Symetra Tour. She's going to be joining us talking about some of the upcoming events coming on, about the season, and about her own experience out on the Symetra Tour. She's been playing, I believe, since 2017. So make sure you come back for that. We're really excited about having many of these young ladies on the show again as the winners are developed throughout the Symetra Tour season. We're going to be featuring them here on the Women of Golf show as our special guest as we help congratulate them on their wins and also talk a little bit about some of the things that they struggle with out on the golf course, and probably in the discussion we'll talk a little bit about their pre-shot routines as well. So maybe you can pick up some great tips. So you want to make sure you join us for that. As I mentioned, I'm going to be joined by a very special guest here in just a few moments. So I'm going to just read a little bit about her and just sort of give you the flavor, if you will, of a little bit about her background, and then when she's ready, we'll bring her on. As I mentioned, my special guest this morning is Ashaunta Epps, the CEO and founder of A Perfect Swing, Inc., whose mission is to help individuals use golf as a networking tool to advance in their career. She's also a golf teacher professional with the Ladies Professional Golfers Association, or LPGA for short. Using strategic personal brand management, she's established A Perfect Swing in the golf and networking arena. Ashaunta is an African American Golfers Hall of Fame inductee and has been recognized nationally as an outstanding leader in golf by the African American Golfers Digest. She's won countless local and national golf competitions. She took the longest drive and low gross honors in the Black Enterprise Golf and Tennis Challenge 2 years in a row at PGA National Golf Club in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So we're very excited to have her on. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're not only going to talk about, obviously, the business, but we're going to talk about minorities in golf and how we can help grow that area and give them an opportunity to come out and enjoy this great game as well. So we'll wait for her to come on board, and then we'll continue on with the discussion there. Some other things as well as we come out through the season, just to remind others, this coming Thursday, I'm going to be hosting my other program, Golf Talk Live, on the same network, blogtalkradio.com. That show, of course, is Golf Talk Live. For some of you that listen to this broadcast or may be familiar with it, that airs Thursday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. Central or 7 to 9 Eastern for those of you on the East Coast. I'm doing my last show February. I will not be doing the full broadcast until March. I've been sort of doing a Golf Talk Live light, if you will, just basically an hour long. I've got some great special guests coming up this week. 3 gentlemen are going to be joining me. We're going to be talking about really golf closures, if you will. As many of you in the industry and some of you that follow golf at all notice that there have been a lot of golf courses that have closed down over the last several years, partially due to economic times, obviously over the last decade or so, and other factors as well. We're going to get into that because that's really a discussion that we don't really hear too much about. And these 3 gentlemen are very, very passionate about trying to change that trend, if you will. So they're going to be joining me this Thursday on the blogtalkradio.com network on my other show that I host alone, Golf Talk Live. And that'll be starting at 6 p.m. Central or 7 Eastern or 4 Pacific time for those of you on the West Coast. So make sure you tune into that as well. I think it's going to be an interesting discussion. And on March the 7th, I will be bringing back, of course, the full show, the full 2-hour show, as we incorporate the Coaches Corner panel. We'll be starting up again March 7th. So I'll have my full panel of my first professionals on March 7th. And then the second half, of course, I will then move the interview portion, if you will. So we'll be going to the full 2-hour show beginning March 7th, starting off with Coach's Corner, followed by my interview from that point on. So very, very excited. Just been sort of warming up the season, if you will, with the shows, and really looking forward to getting into sort of full production of the shows as well. And some of you have probably noticed at the end of the shows, you've been hearing that these are productions of the iGolf Sports Network. Well, let me tell you a little bit about that. This is another platform that I've been creating called the iGolf Sports Network. And essentially what that is it is a live stream and media broadcast and production company that will be, as we move forward, will be producing live stream productions. And I'll give you more details as that comes into the radar, if you will. But I just wanted to give you sort of a sneak peek, if you will, or a heads up. Both the Women of Golf and Golf Talk Live will sort of follow under that umbrella of the iGolf Sports Network. I'm very, very excited about the next platform. I'm not going to give you too many details because I want to save that for sort of an official launch, but that'll be coming out a little bit later on in the season. I'll be getting into more detail about that, but that's really what that's all about. So if you've heard at the end of the broadcast, this is a production of the iGolf Sports Network, that's why. So I hope you'll stay tuned, and I hope you continue to follow me and Cindy on social media. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. Our Twitter handles are mine is Ted and Buck CEO in capital letters, and Cindy is Cindy Miller Golf. That you can find on Twitter. And of course, you can type in our personal names on Facebook and find us on Facebook and follow along. And obviously, Women of Golf Facebook page, you can find out for this program some of the upcoming guests and things that are going to be on. And also on Golf Talk Live for that program, you can search out on Facebook. You can find out. And also on our Twitter feeds as well. We post that each and every week with a different guest. So please check those out. And if you aren't currently following us, make sure that you do. And another great way too, just very quickly, and as I said, Ashaunta's a little bit behind here, so I'll just wait for her, continue on a little bit more. But one of the things that you can also do, if you go to blogtalkradio.com and type in both, obviously independently, but type in Women of Golf, and then after you've done what I'm going to tell you to do, then you can do the same thing with Golf Talk Live. But if you go in to either of these pages and go to blogtalkradio.com and type in either Women of Golf or Golf Talk Live, it will take you to a main page, and you'll see up near the top there'll be an option to follow. and it's free. There's no cost. And basically what it will do is this. It will allow you to follow the show from the main page, and it gives you all of the previously on-demand shows as well. As you scroll down the page, you will see all of the previously aired shows, so you can click on it, and if you've missed one, you can listen to those. But one of the great things that you can do is you can follow the show, and it will actually send you an email reminder. I think it's usually the day before that they come out, or certainly several hours, to remind you in your email inbox of the upcoming show and who's going to be on the show. So if you go there and follow, that's a great way to stay connected as well. Also, as I mentioned, there are some other great social media platforms, which you'll hear at the end of the show. You can also go to any of those if you prefer to listen under those networks. Spotify is one, Castbox, and you can actually subscribe. Again, it's free to the shows there. And again, you just simply go to those social media platforms and just type in either Golf Talk Live or Women of Golf. Hopefully you'll follow both, and you can just click on the subscribe or follow buttons appropriately there. And again, they will be able to get updates and things like that as to upcoming shows. So lots of great ways to tune in, and lots of great ways to follow the show, and I hope you'll continue to do so and help spread the word. We're always excited to bring this format. We think that we're doing a great service to the golf industry. Obviously, both Cindy and I are teaching professionals and work in the not only in the public forum, but also in the business communities as well, with different corporate events and commitments that we have, trying to help grow the game and helping people use golf as a business tool. And so we're always very active, and this is really a great platform that Cindy and I, and also I've done as well with Golf Talk Live, is to be able to get this information out. As much as we love the tours and love talking golf and about the tour players, this is really a platform that we've developed to talk about many of the other great individuals that are in the golfing community, whether it be teaching professionals, whether it be authors that have written some great books, whether it be entrepreneurs that have developed a great product to help you improve your game, or to monitor your game, give you vital statistics that are going to help you make more informed decisions, or people that are in the industry just looking to help grow the industry in some way, form, or fashion. We want to have them and showcase them on this show to give them a voice and an opportunity to share their experiences and share what it is that they have, their knowledge, if you will, about golf. So that's really what these platforms are for. So we hope you continue to support them and join us each and every week as we host these different shows. And so those are just some great ways that you can follow. And we appreciate all of the things that you have done to reach out and let us know your thoughts and input. And please keep doing that. You can, again, reach us through our emails, or you can contact us through social media. Maybe if you're somebody in the golf industry, as an example, that hasn't been on the show, or maybe you haven't been on a little while, and you've got some new interesting things that you want to share with us, by all means, please reach out. Again, Cindy's email is cindy@cindymillergolf.com, and mine is ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. And we'll be more than happy to work you in the schedule. But please keep this in mind. Dates go very, very fast. So if you want to get in the next little while, maybe in the next month or so, depending on what you've got cooking, if you will, you want to reach out to us as soon as you can, because dates are filling up fast. I'm already working now for Golf Talk Live, just as an example. I think I'm pretty well booked up through the end of May and working on June. And I know Cindy, who is primarily handling many of the bookings here, has had several people booked already over the next month or so with the Women of Golf show. So you want to basically reach out again as soon as you can and be able to get yourself considered, if you will, for an upcoming show. So again, reach out to either Cindy and I at our respective emails, cindy@cindymillergolf.com, or me at ted.golftalklive.gmail.com. And we'll be more than happy to do our best to fit you into the schedule. I'm not too sure what's happening here. I suspect that maybe Ashaunta has maybe been delayed for some reason, and I'm going to give her a few more minutes to connect. And if not, then probably what I will do is we'll end the show a little bit early. And I apologize for that, for the delay. Hopefully, she'll be able to join us in the next, or join me in the next little bit, and we'll just have to get her rescheduled for a future date. But again, just to sort of reiterate what I talked about earlier, go back and listen to the first part of the show after it's concluded. If you missed most of the conversation that I carried about the building a successful pre-shot routine, I think you'll find some of the steps that I talked about. I'm not going to obviously go through them again because they're already there in their entirety, but I think you'll find some interesting points that were made that hopefully will help you with yours. One other thing too, let me, as I've got a few minutes here, let me just say, in addition to having some great guests on the show and obviously a multitude of discussions, we want to hear from you, and I mean this sincerely. We really want to hear from you, maybe about some things that you would like for us to talk about, maybe some topics that we haven't covered on the show, maybe some guests that are involved in the golf industry in some way. And again, they don't always necessarily have to be on the teaching side. They can be on the entrepreneurial side. Maybe they've got a great clothing line that for women that you find very exciting and innovative, and you want us to maybe have them featured here on the show. We're very happy to do so. So if you're one of those people, then by all means reach out personally, or if you're a friend and you have somebody that has maybe started a new business or maybe has been running a successful business that you think would be complementary to our show, by all means, please reach out to either Cindy or I, again, via our respective emails, and we'll be more than happy to reach out and have that discussion with them about coming on the show if it's appropriate. So again, if there's some topics or there's some individuals that you may know that you would like to have showcased on our show, by all means, please reach out to either Cindy or I, and we'll be more than happy to, in turn, reach out and make contact and invite them as a guest on the show, if appropriate. So please keep that in mind. And we're always looking for new and interesting guests. And we're also very happy to have literally a plethora of great LPGA professionals, whether it be on the Symetra Tour, the regular LPGA, or even the Legends Tour, come on the show every year that provide some great content, some great input into the show, and we're very honored to showcase them here and give them a platform to express some of those great ideas and some of the great things that they're doing. So we're always happy. That's what we're here for. So we hope that you'll continue to join us. As I said, I'm not sure what's happened, but I suspect that Ashaunta has probably gotten into something that has taken her time, and unfortunately we're down to probably about 15 minutes before the broadcast would normally end. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give her a couple of more minutes here, and then I'm unfortunately going to have to end the broadcast a little bit short. And regrettably, I was looking forward to having her on the show. So we'll see. Maybe we can get her rescheduled for another time when it's convenient, and have that conversation. But again, regrettably, it looks like she's not going to be able to make it this morning. And my apologies to those that tuned in specifically to hear Ashaunta. But we will do our best to have her come on another broadcast. On that note, I'm going to wrap up. So I want to thank you for joining me. And again, I apologize that our special guest wasn't able to, for one reason or another, wasn't able to join us this morning. And again, we'll try to get her on another show. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you'll come back next week, February 5th. Where we'll have one of our special guests from the Symetra Tour. So God bless everybody. Have a great week. And don't forget to tune in to the blogtalkradio.com network this week, Thursday evening, from 6 to 8 p.m. Central, to Golf Talk Live. I've got some great guests coming up, and I hope you'll join me for that. God bless everybody.
Thanks for listening this morning to the Women of Golf Show. Tune in live each week by visiting blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf or on any of these social media platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, CastBox, TalkStream Live, and of course Spotify. If you can't join us live, check out our on-demand section for previously aired broadcasts. To get updates for future shows and upcoming guests, you can follow us on Facebook at Women of Golf. You can also follow me on Twitter at TedandBuckCEO and Cindy at Cindy Miller Golf. Please remember to join us next week on the Women of Golf Show. See you next time. This has been a production of the iGolf Sports Network.